Hello, this is an introduction to contemporary occupational therapy practice, current roles and career development opportunities. So I prepared a 15-minute presentation to share with you, and I'd like to ask you to make some notes as I go through the presentation of thoughts that might occur to you. Any reflections on the ideas that I'm sharing, on your own career path, and any questions that you might have so that we can discuss them at the end. So the aim of this session is to introduce you to current roles and career development opportunities. The objectives are to stimulate thinking around your future career opportunities in occupational therapy, to inspire you to consider things that you might not have thought about, and to generate some ideas on how you might start to career plan as part of your apprenticeship programme. You'll see a little black number on this slide in the bottom right hand corner. Some of the slides have a number on them, and those numbers correspond to some resources at the end of this presentation if you want to do a deeper dive into any of the topics that I'll cover today. So when I started to think about this session, I reflected on my own career opportunities and things that have helped me along the way. And I thought about things that might help you today. So I'm going to share some of my top 5 reflections. The first one is that during my career, I've had 5 different secondments, which have hugely benefited my personal development. These opportunities help you to spread your wings from your current post and to develop and gain new skills and try out things and see if they fit. Another reflection is that although some of these job badges only have one title on them, they don't really reflect the complexity of the role. For example, in one role, I had 3 different jobs, all under one post. I tried to look for opportunities to take on departmental roles such as research or audit leadership, which helped me to develop specific skills. I also reflected that the badges only tell one story of your career development. During my career, I've had many voluntary roles and opportunities that have enhanced my knowledge and skills, such as being part of an RCOT board, the Research and Development Board, or I've been involved in committees and organisations and networks. I also reflected that I've had a number of OT roles that didn't say OT in the title. So fundamentally, these have been career changing for me. And I took the opportunity to try something different. And it doesn't always have to say OT on the badge for you to utilise your OT skills. I've organised these badges in a little bit of a hierarchy, but in truth, there isn't a particular planned route to career development for me personally. I've moved through jobs when it felt right, or I was ready for the next step of my career development. It's only now at the latter stages of my career that I've started to think more strategically about roles. So in the beginning, go where the mood takes you. There's plenty of time to figure out where you are happiest. I wanted to share this with you because it was quite an important reflection for me. I never actually thought I would go to university, much less continue my academic career beyond a BSc. My love affair with learning, education and advanced practice and evidence-based practice has really driven me to continue my academic career when the timing has been right for me personally. I wanted to share this with you because I think I recall remembering at the end of my first degree that I was never going to go back to university again. It was a Herculean effort. But here I am today completing a PhD programme. So don't write off any academic career aspirations that you might have. You never know where your career is going to take you or where life may take you. So I've been qualified 28 years this year, and I'm still excited about the profession, about OT as a career. Why? Well, because OT is like a box of chocolates. There are so many different types of rolls and flavours. You won't like them all, just like, preferences for white, dark, or milk chocolate. You'll have preferences for roles within the profession. The good news is that there are so many different opportunities and sectors for you to work in, you will be spoilt for choice. You might approach your career in a strategic way, looking at a menu of roles, but you might also try out different things and find what aligns with your tastes. You might dive in and look at the roles that seem really appealing and discover that they're maybe not what you thought. There's no right or wrong way to do this, and some people try out different roles to see whether they fit. And you might be surprised to find something that you didn't think you would like that you really have enjoyed. So, occupational therapists have an opportunity and a privilege to work with people across the whole lifespan. From prenatal and neonatal to end of life care, we are there. We see people at hotspots in their lives when they're experiencing physical or mental illness, injury, disease, long-term conditions, or learning disabilities. Our interventions can be short and timely or much longer term. I like to think that OTs are like the hummingbirds of the animal world. The hummingbird has adapted its long beak and tongue to help drink the nectar. Just like the hummingbirds, OTs have developed over decades to adapt their skills and knowledge to different contexts and environments, are not afraid to go out into new areas of practice and new ways of working. Hummingbirds have special wings suited for hovering at flowers, and they're the only type of bird that can move backward, forward, and in other directions. Just like that, OTs are good at moving around a problem. We're comfortable with changing direction and capitalize on roles and opportunities. We're dual trained, so we have an extensive toolbox. We have our core skills, our OT process, activity analysis, observation skills, occupation-focused interventions, and person-focused interventions. These are all our superpowers, which can be adapted to a multitude of contexts. Hummingbirds are very small and can adapt quickly and are nimble. We are little in size as a profession, but we can move quickly and we are nimble. And a good example of this is how OTs have been leading the way in COVID services. But being small has some disadvantages. We don't always get seen, and sometimes we're overlooked, and sometimes we're beavering away in the background. The feathers of hummingbirds are multicolored, and in the sunshine they refract light, they glow and they shimmer iridescent. The structure of the leaves makes them of the feathers makes them visually stunning. Just like the hummingbird, we are small, but we punch above our weight, and when we're in the right conditions, we can absolutely thrive and shine. A hummingbird is joyful to watch as it drinks nectar from a flower, and you will know when you find a joyful role that makes you glow, shows off your best talents, and makes you happy. Over the last 15 years, I've seen OT roles emerge in places I never thought there would be. OTs are powering in services and organisations, and extended scope placements and more latterly leadership placements are helping OT students to experience a realm of opportunity and possibility. Piloting OT roles where there isn't a defined role is helping system leaders and managers to think differently about their workforces. I recently had 4 OTs on student placement with me in GP practices, and this has resulted in those 2 practices taking forward an OT role for advertisement. So, as an apprentice, you come into your OT training programme with a wealth of knowledge and skills. You're trained at the university, and this adds to the toolbox. It equips you with the theoretical and philosophical underpinnings of the knowledge of OT, why we do what we do. It enables you to think more broadly and brings new meaning to your practice. When you qualify as an OT, you have a great set of tools, and just like the wrench in this tool set, you're adaptable to different situations. You can try out different ways of working and adjust your approach to different contexts. So OTs work in many different contexts, and I've listed a few on the slide. The slide is not big enough to list the variety of areas where OTs work, and there has been a number of emerging roles more recently, and OTs are moving into voluntary sector organisations. So if you're not familiar with the ARCOT career development framework, this is a good place to start when planning your career. The 4 pillars of practice you can see in the circle are there to ensure you to develop your OT talents in research, professional practice, leadership and learning. The career levels in the framework 1 to 9 move you through from novice to expert. To make the most of the career development framework, you need to actively recognise where you are in each pillar of practice and develop a plan to move to the next stage. Discussing the framework will help you to learn more about yourself and also perspectives of others. So, to get you started, here are some helpful resources. There are examples of career development templates on the ARCOT website to aid reflection and career planning, and there is also a specific career development framework for OTs working in health and social care. In the last 5 years, I've seen the development of new opportunities in OT, advanced practice roles, first contact practitioner roles. Health Education England have developed a new framework for consultant-led practice. These roles have developed and enable allied health professionals opportunities to broaden their skill base, to work in person-centred approaches and utilise core skills for the benefit of patients, particularly around population health. OTs are equipped and suited to these roles because we're already prevention focused. At the forefront of our approaches is self-management. These opportunities can really enable OT to work more autonomously, specialise and develop this broader set of skills. For example, I've been involved in developing OT roles in primary care, where there are emerging first contact practitioner roles and advanced practice roles. GPs are starting to see the benefit of OTs working in these roles with a focus on frailty, mental illness, and people returning to work. So one of the biggest challenges in health and social care is health inequalities. Inequalities is the unfair difference between and within populations or across socioeconomic groups. COVID has illuminated health inequalities and the differences that this has made to people and their outcomes is exponential. So population health is really an area for OTs to get into. It's an area where there's a proactive and anticipatory care approach. We're seeing a wide number of roles growing in this area, and the focus is on making every contact count and helping people where we can. So you'll see on the screen the 4 domains of public health practice. I think as OTs there are things that we can do in all 4 of those domains, and I'm sure you've got ideas about that too. There's an AHP framework for public health, and the King's Fund have published a document called My Role in Tackling Health Inequalities, specifically for AHPs, where there are 50 examples of AHPs excelling in the area of population health practice. This is where I predict there will be more roles for occupational therapy in the future, so this is something that you really want to keep your eye on. So the aim of this session was to introduce you to current roles and career development opportunities, hopefully to stimulate your thinking about future career and think about some of the things that you may not have had experience of, and offered you some insights into the breadth of OT practice. I've also offered you some opportunities to utilise some tools to help with your career development planning. So what can I do next? Well, you can utilise your mentor conversations as an apprentice to think about career planning, what sort of skills and knowledge you want to gain. Think about using the career development frameworks that are there and the template tools. Explore some of the resources I've shared with you to draw on for inspiration. Seek opportunities for work experience and utilise your annual work appraisal to agree with your line manager opportunities that can help you develop your career. And finally, keeping an open mind, because OT is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. So here are the further links that link into the slides. Thank you for listening. Any questions?